It's high noon time. Well, it's actually just high noon. You don't add the time, but that's my gimmick. Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Figma number 438. It's McCree from Overwatch. Figma continuing the Overwatch line, which has been pretty solid so far. I hear a lot of people like, me. I like the figure, so I will continue to get the Overwatch figure. So obviously, I had to get your boy, the Resident Cowboy, with one of my favorite alts. Just kidding. But regardless of that, let's have a look at the figure. As usual, starting this one off with a look at the size. He stands at about 16 centimeters, really to the tippy top of his head, or 15.5, depending on how you want to look at it. That means we're going up to 6.2 inches, again, to the tippy top of the head, or 6.1 if you're just kind of like going to the head, not the hat. First and foremost, I want to have a look at the figure, and aesthetically, does it look good? Because, like, again, I heard like so much stuff about the Figmas, oh, they're not proportionally right, and blah blah blah. So here's a picture, and you tell me. I think that it looks pretty good. You know, like all the detail in it. Obviously, he doesn't have the poncho on because I want to have a look at the detail of the figure, and I put the poncho on later. But of course, he does come with a poncho. Now I want to get this out of the way because I am thinking some of you might be wondering, can I take off the hat? You know, just for funsies. No, you can't. I mean, you can, but then you get that. So, weird design choice, but you know, it's McCree. You should wear the hat with it. Now, face sculpt, it looks a little bit animal, but it does kind of still have that, I like calling it the Pixar look, because like the Overwatch style, it's very more anime look. It's not really realistic. There's a hint of realism in it, but obviously the characters all have like pretty big eyes, and it kind of looks like anime. It kind of looks like 3D anime. But face sculpt looks very good. Detail in the beard is actually amazing, and the paint job on it, same thing. Look at all the stains that go down. Didn't really miss anything there. Now the one thing you could give him flack for is the hair. Like in most pictures I looked at, the hair is kind of a little bit more going out to the side. That's a minor complaint which I don't have, and I just tried to move the head up. Jesus, well, might as well look at this. Look at the detail. The bullets in his cowboy hat has some damage on the sides. Well, it's not really, well, it is damage. Looks pretty good. The gold is nice and shiny, and I can already tell you the paint job on this one. We've been having issues, Figma and I, with paint job, right? But on this one, I can report that quality control was not sleeping, and I actually couldn't find any issues with it. So we got a nice gold plate in the chest with the kind of like blue lights over here, and you got more silver on the tubes that go around. Now, what they did with that? That's another thing. You could kind of argue again that the tube's are a little bit too small, and the way they did it, the tube is just molded in. It's not kind of hanging off, but that would have been weird and would have hindered the articulation. So it just kind of stops over there. That might look a little bit weird, but you won't even notice that with the poncho on. And I'm saying, if you make a tube that kind of like goes up there, you hinder the articulation, and if you just mold the entire tube going up there, you don't have any articulation. So I'm okay with that. We got more gold in the back, and his entire gauntlet thingy with the skull on it. It looks very nice. It has a little bit of bleeding, a little bit going over the line, but really nothing to complain about. Just tiny things. Same way on the side over here. And we have this piece kind of sticking out. Soft plastic going out, and the elbow pad and a fist. All very shiny, all very good looking. Mold and paint job really align well on this one, and on this one, on this side you have his arm, which the only thing I don't like is how they molded it. Should have probably used a bigger ball joint, especially with the articulation. This sticks out like a sore thumb. It's hard to do though, because you have like a big puffy outfit on the shoulder, and then it goes over to the arm. It still looks okay, but if I bend it, I don't really like it. This piece is floaty, so you can rotate it around. Got the glove on there. You got the BAMF, which stands for mean words, which I can't say because this is a child-friendly platform. Well, my videos are not listed as child-friendly, even though I try not to cuss because I think it's unnecessary. You got these coils on the side with the blue stripe on it. and more metallic. Looks good overall. The entire belt is connected. You can't really take anything off. Well, I guess you maybe could, but it's not meant to be. Like, it's not one of the features. Just rip everything off. But I feel like this is just packed in over there. I don't want to rip anything off. I don't want to destroy my figure, so apologies for that. As we got a butt and the chaps that go around the legs, the single knee pad, and the cowboy boots. Under there with a nice golden star, which doesn't rotate. What the hell? Missed opportunity, but I guess it makes for cleaner mode, so overall, looks good. Now for articulation, I took the cowboy hat off because it only gets in the way. The hat itself moves forward quite nicely, does not really go to the back because of the hair sculpt, which is completely blocking it. And it's one of the, what Figma has been doing recently. You can't pull it out or push it down, so now he looks like he doesn't have a neck. I like to pull it out, also gives you more articulation, goes to the side a little bit, not the greatest, and goes all the way around. Well, it would go all the way around, but it's kind of troublesome with the hair, and that's really it. And did I forget anything? Oh yeah, this neck piece over here, it wiggles, and then that happens. Okay, the neck piece wiggles, but that's about it. I can't really get anything out of that. As you can tell, it just like, it wiggles. So we got a wiggling neck piece. I want to get this back on. Then we got the double ball connection, but it's a little bit different than usual. You got one ball hinge in the chest area, and another ball joint in the shoulder, and they hollowed it out over there. Which, now you might be saying, well, this looks bad, but you're not really seeing it, and you can rotate it to your liking to hide it. If you want to, of course, pose them like that, that looks awful, but that's up to you. This piece on the shoulder is soft plastic, that's why they made a little bit of a cut there, and as such, he can bring the elbow forward a lot, bring it to the back, up, rotation in it, and down, and just has some pretty good range, especially with the forward movement. I like that, so you can have some nice poses with the gun. And then we got the elbow, which, as I mentioned before, it looks that I can't really forgive you that one. It just looks awful. Why not have a bigger ball joint? Why not adjust it differently? At least you can rotate on it. You have that because you don't have bicep swivel. I guess that was like one of the ideas, that you have a swivel in the elbow. Then you can bring the fist around. You can bring it up and down. Chest area does go to the back quite a lot, does go forward, same thing, very good. Does leave a gap in the back though. In the front, well, there's no gap in the front. Also tilt side to side, goes pretty much all the way around. Don't want to force it too much, but let me take this very slowly one time. There you go. Goes all the way around. Then the hip articulation, that also would probably go all the way around. The like the crotch piece is soft plastic, but the belts on it and everything, it just gets in the way of your articulation. So it does. Let me take that slowly again. I want to show you. I want to prove you that I'm right. I'm not going to tell you rotate all the way around. What's the point of having a video if I just tell it? I will show it. Moves forward, back, and something disconnected. That's the hair again. Moves forward and back. Has some side-to-side tilting. And goes... we move over to the legs, actually. Goes forward. It is really blocked by all the belts. Moves to the side, and yeah, you got that. This is one. Can you pull anything down over here? I don't feel like it. So the crotch piece is just really busy, and as a result, the legs are a little bit hindered. It feels like it loosened up a little bit. And you can rotate it, of course. Then you have one ball hinge in the knee and another nice big ball hinge for the foot. Goes back a lot. Goes forward nicely and does tilt side to side while inside, but not really outside. And finally you have a toe hinge, and that's it. Now for the accessories, it's kind of a mixed bag. You got a lot of robot hands, but not really a lot of regular hands. So you got these ones, really posing hands. Then you got a grabbing hand for like the grenades or coils or whatever he has on it. This one also seems like more for the cigarette. And then finally you have this one, which is not a holding hand, which is a bit more open. Maybe that one is for the grenades. But actually, let me show you that one. I had a look at the instructions, and you can't take the grenades off on each side. But the thing is, like, why did they make such a big pack? I don't get it. But it's in there super tightly, so I guess that's like more stability-wise. And then you got free hands, open hand, like a holding hand, and a trigger finger hand for the gun. Then you have the gun, which looks pretty nice. Got some nice metallic and some dark gray on there with the little star. Oh, it is sharp. Not that sharp. And then you got one more out of face, which that's it for the faces. It has a big hole in there. He looks super angry, super grumpy. Which is for the cigars, which are in the box. You get 2 of those. There's one and there's one. You can tell how incredibly small they are. That's why I'm not taking them in my fingers, because I would just be like, here's the cigar, where did it go? And you know, when stuff falls on the ground, it just vanishes. You know that, right? I'm not the only one. You have stuff falling on the ground, and it should be around there. It should be around here somewhere, but it's in like another room. It's in the other side of the apartment. How did it get there? I don't freaking know. Anyway, then there's the poncho, which has some ball hinges. So let me demonstrate that. Moves up and down. Has some side rotation. Same here. Up, down, up, down. Hasn't greatest range, but it's all right. Obviously, it kind of gets blocked by the collar over here. But the main thing is it looks nice. Same with the rest of the figure. You have some bleeding here and there, some small slips which are barely noticeable. Only when I look at it under the microscope I can tell, but for the most part it looks absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. And then finally you got the trademarked Figma Blizzard base with the Blizzard logo under there, which looks weird from upside. And got the Figma back, like every Figma ever. And it's gonna do it. It's gonna bring me to the final thoughts for this Figma Overwatch McCree. And really, the paint job is really good on this one. Has some small slips here and there. The mold is great. The look's great, and I don't have any complaints about that. If I would be looking for complaints, could use maybe another face, and I really would have preferred for them to have the cigar in the face connected. I don't really want to fiddle around with these tiny cigars. That's a personal fact, just personally annoying to me. Obviously that's not a deal breaker, and the elbow joints look pretty weird, but since you can rotate it and whatnot, you have ways to hide it, but still the weight sticking out over there is not great. But yeah, other than that, those are very small complaints to an overall good package, I would say. So I do recommend this figure. And that's really all I have to say about it. I'm really happy with it. Came out pretty darn great. So that's gonna do it, guys. As usual, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever McCree wants. It's high noon.